Goedenavond. Good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Now, probably something that's like a ticking time bomb in the background of what's going on in South Africa is the municipalities, which have been completely mismanaged. There's been a huge amount of corruption, and they all have one thing in common. They're near bankruptcy. So what does all this mean? Well, you know how all these protests are going on, or riots are going on about lack of service delivery? It's going to get worse, and it's going to affect and impact on everybody. Now, the municipalities in South Africa have very efficient, or used to have very efficient sewage systems. And one of the first things that's going to happen is that that's going to become a complete disaster, believe me. And it's coming into your home. Doesn't matter where you live. That's one of the consequences of what's going on in the municipalities. Let's hear what they have to say, or the Auditor General has to say about all this. The Auditor General, conveniently for the government, waited until the State of the Nation address by President Cyril Ramaphosa before releasing his annual report. The President should be appropriately grateful. The bad news from Attorney General Kimi Makwetu is that more municipalities are near collapse and non-compliance and have increased dramatically. The Attorney General's staff is also increasingly being threatened with violence and hampered from doing its work. The good news? Well, not much. For the past 6 years, every single Attorney General report into the financial state of municipalities has shown an accelerating downward trend in public finances. The Attorney General has bemoaned the lack of decisive leadership at the very top of government and the fact that there are no consequences for corruption and incompetence. Every single year, nothing substantial is done, setting the scene for a major disaster. According to the Attorney General's report, more than a third of municipalities are technically bankrupt, with expenditure exceeding revenue, and 18 having been placed under direct administration. Makwetu said, "There are increasing indicators of a collapse. We assessed 76% of the municipalities to have a financial health status that was either concerning or required urgent intervention. Only 8% of the municipalities received clean audits, down from 14%. Almost two-thirds of municipalities ignored previous instances of material irregularities identified by the Attorney General, while three-quarters of them made zero effort to investigate misconduct and fraud identified by the Attorney General. While there will have been a faint sigh of relief that irregular expenditure dropped from 29.7 billion to 25.2 billion rand, the scale of deliberate dishonesty rather than congenital incompetence is staggering. Almost R1 billion worth, that's 921 million rand of tenders, were fraudulently awarded to state-employed officials. Another 1.2 billion rand of procurement could not be audited because of missing or incomplete documentation. Almost R1 billion worth, 921 million rand of tenders were fraudulent awards to state-employed officials. Another 1.2 billion rand of procurement could not be audited because of missing or incomplete documentation. In local government, misfiled or lost are synonyms for stolen or shredded. More than 824 suppliers were identified as having made false declarations to win business, and in 88% of municipalities, the procurement process were uncompetitive or unfair. More than 80% of the 2 billion rand illegally invested by municipalities in the plundered VBS Mutual Bank cannot be recovered. Of the 16 municipalities involved, 14 are now unable to pay creditors, maintenance, infrastructure, or delivery services. In local government, misfiled or lost are synonyms for stolen or shredded. Nice. More than 824 suppliers were identified as having made false declarations to win business, and in 88% of municipalities, the procurement process were uncompetitive or unfair. More than 80% of the 2 billion rand illegally invested by municipalities in the plundered VBS Mutual Bank cannot be recovered. Of the 16 municipalities involved, 14 are now unable to pay creditors, maintain infrastructure, or deliver services, including electricity, water, and sewage. Disgusting. The big auditing firms have already taken a reputational hammering over complicity in state capture at state-owned enterprises and criminal incompetence or collusion with private sector shenanigans like the Steinhoff collapse. They fare no better in their highly paid work for local government. The 907 million rand spent on consultants to do the work of municipal staff, up by 20% on 2016-17, did not buy even minimal competence. Almost two-thirds, or 65% of the reports on quality performance were not credible. Fully two-thirds of the financial statements had material misstatements in the areas where the consultants had done the work. 4 out of 10 municipalities have no road maintenance plan, and almost half of them, 48 to 49% respectively, have no water or sanitation maintenance plans. It is clear from these AG or Attorney General statistics the recent collapse of water services in Umkanda and the KwaZulu-Natal South Coast are not anomalies. They are harbingers for a nationwide collapse. Municipalities owed 6 billion rand to the water boards, and in March this year 20 billion rand to Eskom. Behind this lies the culture of non-payment tolerated for the past quarter century. According to the DA in the Free State, in many municipalities in that province, barely 10% of residents pay their municipal bills. The South African Municipal Workers Union, or SAMWU, warned this week that it would embark on strike action if workers at about 30 municipalities nationwide who did not receive salaries this month end were not paid immediately. The president said SAMWU has been complicit in failing municipalities by not unlocking more central government funding. To even begin to deal with the morass of overstaffing, underperformance and criminality, the Ramaphosa administration will have to lock horns with powerful and arrogant unions that are nominally part of the governing alliance. Whether a former trade unionist president will dare pick up the gauntlet remains to be seen. Now, obviously, we all know that Ramaphosa right now is on the seat of his pants because of all the conflict going on within the ANC. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens this weekend after they have their National Executive Committee meeting, where you've got the powerful forces that are going to be bumping heads against each other. All right, guys, sad news for the municipalities, but what do you expect after BEE and 25 years of corruption? Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed, ring the bell for the updates, and have a great evening.